The restaurant was silent, so silent you could hear the clinking of a glass from the far end of the hall. All eyes turned toward the corner booth, where a man in an expensive suit had just raised his voice. His words cut through the air like a knife. "Do you even know how to do your job? Useless girl." The waitress froze in her tracks, her tray trembling in her hands. The man who had spoken was no ordinary customer. He was a billionaire, known across the city for his ruthless business empire, his intimidating presence, and his temper that few dared to provoke. But that night, something extraordinary happened. The waitress, with eyes glistening but steady, looked right at him. And then she said one sentence. A sentence so powerful that the entire restaurant went silent. A sentence that not only silenced the billionaire but changed the lives of everyone who heard it. Her name was Anna. She wasn't just a waitress, she was a young woman carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. Her father had passed away when she was only 16, leaving behind medical debts that swallowed their savings. Her mother, frail and unwell, depended on Anna for everything: food, medicine, rent. Anna had dreams once. She wanted to study literature, become a teacher, and inspire children the way her own teacher once inspired her. But life had different plans. College became a luxury she could not afford, and instead of sitting in classrooms, Anna spent her days running between shifts, waiting tables during the day, cleaning offices at night. It wasn't the life she wanted, but it was the life she had. That night, the billionaire, Richard Kane, had come into the restaurant with his associates. He was celebrating yet another successful deal, a deal that made him richer but left hundreds of workers unemployed. His companions laughed loudly, glasses of wine spilling as they toasted to victory. Anna approached the table with a polite smile, her voice gentle but professional. She served with care, her every movement precise. But in her exhaustion, she made a small mistake. She set down his dish with the wrong sauce. A minor error. But to Richard Kane, it was enough to unleash his fury. "You had one job," he thundered, his face red with anger. "Do you even know what attention to detail means? People like you are the reason standards keep dropping in this world." The restaurant froze. Customers shifted uncomfortably, but no one dared intervene. After all, who would stand up against a billionaire? And that was when Anna, heart pounding but spirit unbroken, spoke. She didn't cry. She didn't argue. She didn't bow her head in shame. Instead, she looked straight into his eyes and said softly, but firmly, "Sir, sometimes the people who serve you carry burdens you will never understand." The words struck like lightning. For a moment, Richard Kane had no reply. His associates fell silent, their laughter dying instantly. Even the clattering of dishes in the kitchen ceased, as if the entire restaurant had paused to absorb what she had just said. Richard stared at her, shocked, not by her defiance, but by the truth in her words. Something inside him shifted, a crack appearing in the armor he had built around himself over decades of wealth and power. Because once, long ago, Richard Kane had not been a billionaire. He had been a poor boy in a broken home, raised by a mother who worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. He remembered her tired hands, her worn-out shoes, her quiet sacrifices. But as he built his empire, chasing success and drowning in luxury, he had buried those memories deep inside him. Now, Anna's words brought them rushing back. But Richard Kane was not a man who admitted weakness easily. He pushed back his chair, his pride warring with his conscience. "Do you know who I am?" he demanded. Anna's lips trembled, but she held her ground. "Yes," she said. "You're a man who has everything money can buy. But tonight, you showed the world that kindness is something even you can't afford." The room gasped. Never before had anyone spoken to Richard Kane this way. And never before had he felt so small. That night didn't end the way anyone expected. Richard Kane didn't storm out. He didn't fire back with insults or threats. Instead, he asked for his bill quietly, paid in full, and left with his head lowered. But for Anna, the story didn't end there. The next morning, Richard Kane appeared again at the restaurant, but not as the arrogant customer from the night before. He asked to see Anna. The manager, nervous and apologetic, called her out, fearing she might be in trouble. But Richard's voice was different now. Lower. Sincere. Almost human. "I owe you an apology," he said. "And perhaps, more than that. Anna didn't know what to say. Richard continued, "Last night, you reminded me of someone. My mother. She worked herself to the bone to give me a chance in life. I forgot what that meant. I forgot what people like you sacrifice every day." For the first time in years, Richard's voice cracked. "I built an empire, but I lost my soul somewhere along the way. And you reminded me what it means to be human." Over the next weeks, something remarkable happened. Richard Kane didn't just apologize, he acted. He quietly started a scholarship fund for restaurant workers and their families. He implemented employee support programs in his companies, giving those at the bottom the dignity and security they had long been denied, and at the center of it all was Anna. Richard offered her a scholarship to finish her studies. He told her, "You belong in a classroom, not just behind a tray. Let me invest in you, the way someone once invested in me." Anna cried that day, not from sadness, but from relief. For the first time in years, the weight on her shoulders began to lift.